Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Happy Hour Sports. My name is Sam Madrigal, where we talk about Orlando Magic basketball. And wow, all I have to say is wow. I'm sure all the fans are saying wow, and they cannot believe what just happened to this Orlando Magic team. Probably the biggest choke job in all of sports history. An embarrassing loss for the Magic. Just period on that. Magic lose 93-79 to the Detroit Pistons last night after being up 22 at the half. And Magic completely went cold in the second half. And I'm going to read some stats here for you. But this was the game to seal the deal, to move on to the second round. And the Magic completely fell off in the second half, and this is nothing new. It's all because of the offense. It's all because when things got too hard, they completely fell off again. When things got tough, they absolutely gave up. Now, I'm sure as everyone has seen and even heard from the broadcast last night, the Magic missed 23 straight shots. 23 straight shots. The most in a row by any team in a playoff game since 97-98 in the play-by-play era. The Magic just shot 4 of 37, 11% from the field in the second half. The worst field goal percentage by any team in any half in the play-by-play era since the 97-98 season. And only 19 points in the second half in Game 6, which is the fewest in any half by any team in playoff history. The Magic went 45 minutes of real time without a made basket. I have no words. As I was watching this game, the Magic were up. They were up big heading into the third quarter. But the Detroit Pistons never gave up. And you just got to give credits to the Detroit Pistons and JB Bickerstaff for coaching this team to rally them back and get the win and force a Game 7. But this is nothing new. This is nothing new for this Magic team on how they fully collapsed. If you've watched all season long, this team has had this problem all season long. This is nothing new. The offensive scheme of this team does not work. And there's going to be big changes. There's going to be big changes to the coaching. I think the whole coaching staff will probably be gone. And I really did thought, even from my last episode, I thought maybe if Jamal Mosley got it done, he might be able to keep his job. But that's just not that's just that. Even if the Magic do make it to the second round in Game 7, if the Magic beat Detroit in Game 7, I think Mosley's still gone. Because the offensive scheme, the offensive struggles this team has had this season, it's just not working. It has been a huge downer all season long, and has been a struggle, and it showed up. It showed up in game 6 here, which is unacceptable because you had the chance. This was in the Magic's hand. The win was in their hand, and the Magic completely blew it. And you could have had maybe a terrible third quarter, but you had two terrible quarters towards the end. And when things got tough, the Magic gave up completely. They were settling for shots. They weren't getting inside the paint to attack. They didn't penetrate inside the paint. They were settling for shots. And yes, some of them did miss wide open shots. They did. They missed some wide open shots. But when you're missing that bad, You have to get in the paint for the higher percentage shots and also get to the free throw line. That's how you're going to make your points. And like I said, I got to give credit to the Detroit's defense. Another thing too, the Magic were just playing the Paulo game, which is Paulo save us, do your thing, which just did not work. And the Magic had a great first half, an amazing first half. It looks like they were going to run away with this and be heading to Cleveland or Toronto to face them. And Toronto and Cleveland, Toronto won last night and are heading back to Cleveland for a Game 7 as well. And you were hoping the Magic would win this one to get some rest. But the Magic, just a complete choke job. And no one shot good tonight. The Detroit Pistons, they got a lot of extra possessions. They out-rebounded the Magic again offensively. Detroit had 14 offensive rebounds compared to the Magic's 8. And if you get more possessions in this game of basketball, you're gonna win. It's all about possessions, and more opportunities to score. And so the Detroit had that. And Cade Cunningham, he brought them back to this game. The coaching, this looks like the number one seed Detroit that was missing in the first 4 games. And now all the momentum, all the confidence is on the Detroit Pistons side, heading back to Detroit. The Magic fans did their job. They were there, they were present, they were loud until that second half. Where, even after I was just seeing all the fans after the game just complete, like even during the third and fourth quarter, of just complete shell shock of what just happened. The fans, even the players were shell shocked of like, oh my gosh, we just blew this 22-point lead. They were up at most of 24 points. The Magic were. And they completely blew it. They completely blew this win. And it's an unacceptable game. And like I said, it's nothing new for this Magic team. This offense has been such a struggle all season long. And they try to go through the Paulo. And there's no offensive scheme to even get Desmond Bane involved, because that's just not Jamal Mosley's coaching. Jamal Mosley doesn't have a coaching style to where they can get wide open shots. It seems like it's all just kind of one-on-one basketball. And that just isn't going to work. And it's not going to work in Game 7. The Magic will lose if they try to do that. So they need to create opportunities and higher percentage shots for themselves. And they need to figure it out quick. Like, Magic are still in this. They could win. But you got to find deep down on what you're going to do to win. You got to come out with energy, physicality, and if things get tough, you got to know how to punch back. Because Detroit, they came back. They came back punching. And they're one seed for a reason. And they have came back and forced a Game 7. I gotta give credit to Sar Thompson. He played great defensively. As you can just tell, this whole team was just shell shocked of what just happened. And the Magic just they gave up. You just saw them totally give up. It's tough to watch just because of the talent on this team. And even yesterday too, or in the last episode I recorded, the Magic, they could win without Franz. Now, we know Franz is such a big part of this team offensively and defensively, But you proved in game 5, it was a close game. It was going back and forth. Even though the Magic trailed the whole game, they still fought their way back. And we're only down by 3 towards the end of like the last minute and a half. And then in this game, you were up 22 at the half without Franz. And then just completely went cold. Completely collapsed. Drowned in your own mistakes and your own self-doubt. So there's really no excuse for this Magic loss. There's no excuse. It all comes down to the players and coaching. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of big changes this offseason. Jalen Suggs, he was, I believe, 0 for 6 tonight. And we were hoping for a big Jalen Suggs game as well. But he just didn't show up. He was 1 of 10 from the field and 1 of 6 from 3. And, Wendell Carter Jr. too. I mean, played great defensively. He was good. But rebounding, he had 0 rebounds. Like, as a center, you should have A+ rebounds. And so the Magic aren't going to get rid of their core in Paolo Banchero, Desmond Bane, and Franz Wagner. Now, we know Paolo has been struggling all season long offensively and figuring out his groove. Franz Wagner, he just needs to stay healthy. Desmond Bane's just been exceptional this season. But there has to be an offense that works for all 3 of them. And the offense that's working now, or it's not working, but the offense that they have now is not working for any of them. There's no offense to be run through Paolo of where he's going to get the higher percentage shots and the makes. There's no offensive scheme to get Desmond Bane his open looks and to really use him in the best way possible as a third, second option. And the Magic have a lot of figuring out to do this offseason. Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? Jalen Suggs and Wendell Carter Jr. are going to be fighting to stay on this team. They're going to be fighting for a position to stay on the team. And right now, it's not looking too hot. Even though Jalen Suggs, great defensively, Wendell Carter Jr., great defensively, if you just aren't generating the type of offense, and if you're very inconsistent with your games, you're not gonna stay on the team. And so coming into game 7, heading back to Detroit, you got to fight for your spot to stay on the team for next season. And like I said, the Magic in that locker room, I know the energy is low. The Magic drank the Kool-Aid too early. They have drinking the Kool-Aid too early. And the confidence right now is at a low. So the Magic really need to dig deep and figure out what are we going to do coming out in game 7. And they have to figure it out fast. This loss is the reason why there's going to be a lot of changes. Same thing that happened with Boston. After that loss towards the end of the season, the Magic have put themselves in this position. There's a reason why they are the 8th seed this season. And it's fully collapsing during games when things get hard. The offensive scheme and just some coaching adjustments, honestly. Those big three things are the reason why the Magic are where they are where they are at the 8th seed. And it's no surprise. It's no surprise. And so, like I said, there's still hope. There's still hope for Magic fans out there. You head into Game 7. You can take the win still. It just, all it comes down to is who wants it more. What are you going to do coming out differently coming into Game 7 when things get tough, when you aren't making the shots? Because they're probably going to have another tough quarter. They're going to have a tough shooting quarter. But if you have 2, 3 tough shooting quarters and you just kind of give up, you aren't making it past the the first round. And you're going home packing. Because in this game, like the Magic, they looked like they were taking it. Detroit looked like they weren't going to fight back. But they did. Detroit came back. They came back scratching and clawing, throwing haymakers, and they came back and won this game. Deservingly so. But that will be it for today on Happy Hour Sports. We will be covering after Game 7 as well. We'll talk about the Magic's future and what that could look like. Like I said, very unacceptable game from this team and should have been an easy win. So, but thank you again for tuning into Happy Hour Sports. My name is Sam Madrigal, and I will catch you on the next one.